In a period of 227 days, from the 3rd of August 1974 to the 17th of March 1975, Noel Conway of London saw matches at all 93 English Football League grounds. Sorry, can't stay.
Record breaker. If you're the tallest, the smallest, if you beat them all. If you're the fattest, the thinnest, if you always win. If you're the fastest, the slowest, if you really go, that you're a record breaker. You're a record maker. You're a record breaker.
Hello, welcome to the Record Breakers. Now, if you're wondering why I'm here alone and where the audience is, I've actually sent them outside the studio to bring in a very, very long record breaker.
This old man, he played one, he played knick-knack on my drum with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played two, he played knick-knack on my shoe with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played three, he played knick-knack on my tree with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played four, he played knick-knack on my door with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played five, he played knick-knack on my heart with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played six, he played knick-knack on my six with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played seven, he played knick-knack on my ten with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played eight, he played knick-knack on my neck with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played nine, he played knick-knack on my nine with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played ten, he played knick-knack on my head with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give it up a run. This old man came rolling home.
It's the longest embroidery in the world, and it's been made by Mrs. Margaret Pollard, who lives in Truro in Cornwall. She was asked to make it by a Mr. Michael Maine, who is a great fan of the famous author C.S. Lewis. Now, Lewis wrote 7 books about the adventures 4 children called Susan, Peter, Edmund and Lucy had in the magical land of Narnia, which they reached by climbing in a wardrobe in an old country house. Now, it was one of these stories, the one called The Magician's Nephew, that Michael wanted illustrated as a sort of embroidered cartoon strip. And Margaret Pollard was only too happy to oblige. She first draws the designs on paper, and when Michael has approved them, she transfers the drawings onto the material, and Margaret started embroidering this in September 1973, and now 4 years later has completed not just The Magician's Nephew, but 5 of the other books C.S. Lewis wrote about the Narnia adventures. Margaret is, in fact, in the middle of the last book in the series, and therefore the embroidery will be even longer than this when it's finished. Even so, it's still 260 metres long, and it's already the largest piece of embroidery in the world. And as for Margaret Pollard, well, she's a quick-fingered, stem-stitching, silk-selecting, needle-threading record breaker! This is a slide rule, a device used for working out mathematical calculations by operating the centre slide and this thing, which is called a cursor. Now, some slide rules are smaller than this one, some are cylindrical, and some are bigger, like the one I went to see when I visited Canada during the summer. This was built by 2 lads who go to the Huron Heights Secondary School in Newmarket, Ontario, and their names are Jeff Meyer and his cousin Randy. Now, Randy, can you tell me exactly how long is this slide rule?
It's about 39 feet or a little bit longer than that, or 13 meters.
13 meters, yeah. And how long did it take you to make it?
It took us about 19 hours, and that was all done within a day.
Yeah?
So, like, we didn't get a lot of sleep done.
Jeff, all these little marks here, they must all be in the right place. How did you work that out?
Well, we have a computer at the school. There was a ratio between the length, like the division between the marks in a regular slide rule and this one. So he just made up a program, and made up the relationship, right? So, and these are some of the markings.
Oh.
There's roughly 50 pages of just markings that we had to put on. It took us 4 hours to put the markings on.
Is it fairly accurate?
Yeah, 3 decimal places.
So we could do some calculations on it, could we?
Oh, no problems.
Right. What should we do first?
How about 1.2 times 2?
Okay, let's go.
That'll give us about 2.4.
Now, what do we have to do first?
Okay, what we gotta do is we have to go down here to the end and match up the 1 on the C scale to the 1.2, which will be here on the D scale. So what we do is, Jeff, you want to guide that, okay? So make sure it doesn't get caught. Okay, 1.2. Make sure we get this accurate here. Okay, now if you could just give me the cursor and match it up with the 2 on this scale.
Up with the 2, which here's the 2.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
If you read this scale here, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 2.4.
2.4. So that's correct.
That's it.
Well, now I'm not too sure about decimals myself. I'll set you one of my own problems. 4 times 2. How about that?
No problem. So you just grab that thing there.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, keep guiding this thing out. All right. Show this lad how it works.
Oh. Yes, it's trying to.
Just keep going. I'll show you where to put it.
Yeah.
Make sure you got it. Whoop. We overshot our boundary here. Keep it
back
straight.
a bit. Back a bit.
Keep it straight.
Hang on.
Okay.
That's it.
There you go.
Now.
That's why they wouldn't let me use it during my math exam. Okay, now you have to put it on the 2.
On the 2 here.
Yep. And you got
there's
8.
your answer. 8.
No problems, eh?
Congratulations. That's the longest 8 I've ever seen in my life. Right, now I want you to listen to me. When I give the word, I want everybody to slow down. And then, not yet, keep going. When I say slow down, I want you to slow down, and I also want you to stop. But keep going, come on. Keep the pace going. When you stop, I want you to try and balance the bicycle in a stop position without putting your feet down. Okay, slow down, slow down. Now, everybody try and stop, stop. No. Don't put your feet down. Can you balance? How you doing? Everybody all right? Yeah? Is everybody down? Anybody done it yet? No? Norris, what's the record for staying on a bike like this without falling off?
Well, his name, Roy, is Willem van Pluijnbroek, and he comes from a place called Zavalora in Belgium, and he stayed stationary on a bicycle without support for an incredible 5 hours and 52 minutes.
5 hours and 52 minutes? Yeah. Well, that's nothing. It's easy. Good gracious me. If you care to hang about for another 6 hours, I'll do it for you with no trouble. I mean, I could easily become a slow-cycling, non-moving saddle-sore record breaker. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm, he had some corn. And in 1972, Britain had an all-time record harvest, producing 15 3/4 million tons. Now, I have a letter here from Llanharry in Wales. It says, "Dear Roy, I'm sending you this egg, which was laid by one of our 2-year-old Rhode Island hens. Please, is this the smallest egg on record from this hen? Yours sincerely, Mark Field, aged 9. Now, what about that, Norris?
Well, it's a tiny little hen's egg, isn't it?
Well, it's from a fully grown hen, though, isn't it?
Yes, but see, what happens is when hens lay eggs, they have a thing called an oviduct, which is like a production line. So this one will be not fully developed, and it'll not be fertile, therefore no little fluffy chick would come out of it. And so it's really rather remarkable.
Yes, but it is a...
Oh, it's a tiny little one, but it's not the smallest of all eggs. The record for small eggs is set in 1906 when they found a Cuban humming bird called a Mellisuga heleni. And it's so tiny, its egg, that it takes 7 of them to make an ounce.
Yes?
That's the smallest of all the eggs. That's the record holder.
Ah, well, that's still very good. Now, let me see. Let's see if anybody'd like to ask a question. Anybody around here? Yeah? How about you? What's your name?
Vanessa.
Vanessa. And what's your question?
What's the longest living cat?
Well, there are on record a few cats that get up to 30. And there's one called Ma, M-A, and it came from Drew Stainton in Devon, and it was owned by a woman called Mrs. Alice St. George, and it lived to 33, and it was a tabby, and that's the oldest reliably reported cat.
Now, who else? Anyone else? Oh, we got a fella here. What's your name?
What is the longest lorry?
Is that your name?
No, Colin Bridges.
Colin Bridges. What is the longest bridge? No, sorry, what was it again?
What is the longest lorry?
The longest lorry.
The longest lorry. Well, there was one that was made by the US Army, and it was made for swamps, and it had masses of trailers all fitted on the end of each other, and it was called the Overland, and it was, I think, something like 700 feet long, and they only built one of them. And I'm afraid they've scrapped it now, so you can't see it any longer.
Now then, let's have a look here. What's your name?
Karen.
Karen, and what's your question?
The man that's caught the biggest fish, how long has it taken him to put it in the boat?
The man that's caught the biggest fish, and how long did it take him to put it in the boat?
Well, the longest fish fight, you know, one man fighting a fish, was off New Zealand, and it went on for more than 30 hours. Think of that, more than a whole day. And do you know, it got away.
Well, I have another letter here. It's from Whitelands Park County School, Sagecroft, in Sagecroft Road in Thatcham, Berkshire, and it's, Dear Mr. Castle, my friend at school has been sucking her thumb since she was 1 year old, and she is now 11 years old. She doesn't do it all the time, but she does it most of the time. Our teacher, Mr. Plackett, calls her Cyril. But her real name is Amy. Her thumb is bigger than anybody else's in the class because she's been sucking her thumb for a very long time. Please, can you tell us if this is a record? Thank you, from Michaela Lyons. P.S. Don't think she's a baby. What about that, Norris?
Well, that's the longest I've ever heard of. Most people give up sucking their thumbs when they're about 6 or 7. And I should think Amy has certainly got a very big, soggy thumb.
Amy, you're a shy, sucking, long-thumbed record breaker. If you want to see a tree climb 80 foot in record time, a lumberjack is the ace, Canada is the place. Up and down he goes, digging in his toes. If you want to see how, then you've got to go to Canada right now. Canada is the world's second largest country, and almost half of it produces timber. 99,110,000 cubic meters of it are cut every year by an industry that employs 1 3/4 million people. Not all trees are cut down from the ground, however. Sometimes it's necessary for lumberjacks to climb up the trees to lop off the top. Now, the techniques they used to climb the trees eventually became a sport, and now lumberjacks have competitions between each other to see who can climb up and down the quickest. Les Stewart is one of Canada's fastest tree climbers. He's won the national title 3 times, so when I went to Canada during the summer, I got him to give me some tips about how it's done. Well, this is the tree, Les. It's very tall and it's got no branches. So how would a lumberjack go about climbing this thing?
Well, you start off by putting these climbing spurs on.
Climbing spurs?
Spurs, you strap them on your legs. This is your left foot here.
That's left foot, okay? And that's the spur goes on the inside.
That's right.
Now, we just strap this round here, do we?
That's right.
Yep.
Fairly tight.
About fairly tight, yeah. What happens
This
here?
one here comes around here like this.
Yeah. Okay.
That's your left
the
one.
left foot. Now the
Now
right
your
foot.
right one.
The spur goes on the inside again.
Same thing.
Yeah. And this one. Right. Now then, do we wear gloves?
Yeah, you put the gloves on.
It's
You
a
might
good
get a
idea.
few slivers otherwise.
Yeah. So put them on in there. They're nearly like.
We got all the palms cut out for a good grip on the rope, see?
Oh, I
That's why you
see.
got your skin
Yeah.
there.
So that hasn't been worn away. That actually is.
we cut that out.
So you can get a hold. Yeah. Now, what's next?
Now you got a climbing belt here.
This is the climbing belt.
You step into her and we'll button her
Uh-huh.
up.
I just step in here. Whereabouts?
Anywhere there.
About there. Ah.
And buck her up.
Tight again.
Yeah, fairly tight, yeah.
How's that?
That's good. Now you just put a hand over here, one on the other side the same way.
Yeah.
Throw your rope up a few feet. And put your first foot right in about here somewhere.
And you've got to really dig in, have you?
Dig him in, yeah.
Like this.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the next one. And then throw the rope up now.
Oh. Yeah. I can't go up there. How do you get down again?
Well, you keep the rope where it is and take a foot down and hammer it in the tree good and hard.
Yeah.
Now the other one and slide the rope down a bit.
I see.
Nothing to it, eh?
Well, Les, I think this is one job I'd rather leave to you. Ready, set, go. That's it. That's 26 seconds. And it's an 80-foot tree.
80 feet, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, now you've probably heard the saying, like father, like son. Well, Les has a son, Wade, and he can climb trees too. Wade, can you tell me how old you are?
5.
You're 5. And how long have you been climbing trees?
About 2 years.
So you started when you were 3?
4 when I started.
4 when you started. And how tall is this tree you're going to climb?
16.
It's about 16 feet, huh? And what's your best time so far?
14 or something.
14, round about 14. Well, would you like to try and beat it for us? Well, I'll give you a ready, steady go. I'll just get my stopwatch ready. Ready, set, go! That's it. Do you know what you've done? You've done that in 11 seconds. For any goalkeeper to save a penalty, he's got to be good. To do it against Liverpool means he's got to be very good. To do it against Liverpool twice in one match means he's got to be just about the best goalkeeper in the world. The man who did that, as you've just seen, is our special guest this week. Bill Shankly, the famous Liverpool manager, once said to him,
"To have a chance against you, you've got to use a bigger ball."
We welcome Northern Ireland's most capped soccer international, goalkeeper Pat Jennings. Hi, Pat, have a seat.
Cheers, Roy.
Thank you very much for coming on to the Record Breakers.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, now, I suppose, like most of us, you started playing soccer at school, did you?
Yeah. Funny enough, in my school in Ireland, we only played Gaelic games, so I started off playing Gaelic football. But there was a soccer league organised in the town, and I actually played in an under-19 league when I was 11-year-old.
Under-19, when you were 11?
Yeah.
And what team was that?
That was a street team, Shamrock Rovers.
Shamrock Rovers, yeah? And what really made you get serious about soccer?
I started playing then for Uri United, which was the second team of Uri Town.
Yeah.
And from there I got picked to play for the Irish youth team. And came to England, and the scouts picked me up in England. I signed for Watford then.
Yeah.
And played for Watford for a year. And then Tottenham came and signed me.
And how old were you when you played for Tottenham?
I went to Tottenham at 18.
And when did they first spot you to play for Ireland?
Well, actually, I played for Ireland whenever I was still at Watford.
Yeah?
Yeah. George Best and myself made our debut on the same night in an international against Wales.
So that was very quick then, really, to just go into football and more or less be an international straight away, was it?
Well, it was certainly a very, very quick rise for me.
And now you are the most capped Irish footballer, aren't you?
Yeah. I've taken over from my boss at the minute, Terry Neal.
Yeah.
I think Terry had 59, and of course I think the last time I played reach the 70 mark.
You've got 70 mark. Now, you as a very successful goalkeeper, what would you look for now in a new up-and-coming goalkeeper? What would you be looking for?
Well, it's very, from my own point of view, it's very, very strange because, believe it or not, I've had no, or very, very little coaching right the way throughout my career. But I would think perhaps you've got to have a good pair of hands, clean handling, agility, anticipation. You've got to be a little bit mad, as some people say, or a little bit brave, I don't know which.
That's right, because you've got to dive at people's feet, haven't you?
That's right, yeah.
But what would you say is the most difficult thing that you ever have to save? Is it always the same type of move that you worry about coming up?
Shots low down or high up in the corner, or else right down by the post. Those are the most difficult.
In all the corners,
yeah.
Have you always been a goalkeeper only, or have you played in midfield at all?
Actually, I used to play the Gaelic football in midfield. And funny enough, the last match of the season with a tour match in Norway, and I finished up playing the last 20 minutes at right back.
Yeah?
One of the players got injured, yeah, and we had two goalkeepers standing back. So I've always fancied myself, you know, so I had to run out.
Yeah. So, have you ever scored a goal
then? Alex Stepton would be well pleased me for bringing this up, but I have actually against Manchester United in a Charity Shield match in 1967.
Yeah? As a goalie?
Yeah, from a kick out from one side of the field to the other.
How did it manage to get in there?
Well, Alec, I think one of our players, he had come out anticipating one of our players to head it or to take it down, control it, and he missed it, and unfortunately Alec missed it, or fortunate for me.
And it went
finished
right over
up
the
in the
net?
net, yeah. And everybody stood about wondering what was happening now. What does the referee do?
And it was a goal?
Yeah, more or less a goal.
It could happen eventually that you'd have to play against the Spurs at White Hart Lane. How would you feel then?
I suppose mixed feelings, but at the same time, now that I'm an Arsenal player, I want to do the best I can for that team and for their supporters.
Yeah.
So,
do you have any ambitions now for football?
I've missed out on a league championship medal, and that's my ambition at the minute with Arsenal.
Yeah.
To finish up, it'd be nice to finish my career winning a league championship medal. Not that I have any ideas of finishing for a few years yet.
Well, as far as we're concerned, you're one of the really good examples of football and the way to handle yourself on and off the field. Thank you very much for coming to see us. Pat Jennings.
Thank you.
And if you want to be like Pat, the best in the world, what you've got to have is dedication, dedication, dedication. That's what you need if you want to play with ease and save those penalties. Dedication's what you need.